I take photos. People take photos. They want to capture memories. I mean, I'm trying to do that, but in a different kind of way. I'm trying to slow time, So whenever I can use my family, I want to, just because I can capture this little moment of them in this moment of their life.
Hi, and welcome to Chasing the Same Sun, Adventures in Global Filmmaking. I'm your host, Lagan Sebert, and I'm so happy to welcome one of our favorite filmmaking collaborators, Erica Silverman, to the podcast. Erica is a writer, director, editor, actor, and mother of three who lives in Fort Worth, Texas. Her heartwarming spirit pours through the lens, and she captures soul and a distinct Americana style in all of her work. Welcome, Erica.
Thank you for having me, Lagan.
I was looking back at it. We've worked together for a while. I think the first project was 2016. And I think there's an interesting story behind it because I was looking back at it and I had to look in my email to confirm this. So we first worked together on the Robert Ellis music video for California.
We did.
So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about was filmmaking and family. And I feel like it kind of relates to the story of California because I was working with your now husband, the father of your children, Robert Ellis, helping him make some music videos.
I met Robert later through some mutual friends, and I had done one other music video at that point for a rapper, but other than that, I had never done music videos. And so I wanted to do more of them. And I remember asking him, like, let me write on it. I really want to try to make one. And he's like, well, sure, go ahead, go write something. And so I wrote something, made a treatment, and then I sent it to you guys. And I'm sure it was his doing to like get me the job, but I got it. And then the video, was the narrative of the breakup family thing. And he's like, well, I want you to be the girl in it. I'm like, I'm not going to be the girl in it and try to direct this thing because it really was my first professional job. Other than that, I had just done things for fun. And he kept pushing back, like, you need to be the girl.
I feel bad that the budget was $4,000.
It was so small. But, I had done all these favors as an actor for people. And so I felt like, okay, this is my moment to cash in on all of these favors, always being the cheap girl or free girl or whatever, or just helping people on their projects. And so I got Zeiss Primes and Alexa Mini and like all this stuff for free because I could cash in on those favors finally.
It's a fantastic video, and it's amazing that, like, I remember that year it was on Rolling Stone's list of best music videos of the year. Do you remember that?
I didn't even know that. That's great.
It was. Yeah.
That's great. I remember being in Nashville on the show.
Really? I see. Yeah. I didn't know that.
Yeah. And it was funny because it was in some scene and Connie Britton's character, they're in, this big record label meeting, and they put on the California video, and they say, like, then they close it and they're like, she's too expensive. We need her, but she's too expensive. And in my mind, I'm like, why are you telling everybody that? I'm not too expensive. We did that for no money.
It just feels like you're not afraid to be vulnerable. And maybe if like that comes from your background as an actor, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's just kind of a part of my personality. Like, I don't know how to be any other way. Like, I'm an oversharer. I tell people too much information. And I guess that's just what I am drawn to, different work that, delves into being, I think art in general is vulnerable, like you're exposing something of yourself, even if you're not trying to. So I don't know. I'm not really conscious of it. I think that's just kind of my personality.
What first drew you to get into filmmaking?
Okay, so I am not like you. I did not grow up in a creative family. No one played music. No one was an artist of any kind. Maybe they were an artist in the sense of like how they lived their life. That wasn't something I was exposed to, but I remember being super young. Don't know the age, maybe 4 or 5. And I saw Nutcracker and I just flipped out. Like, I want to be these people on stage, you know? I didn't know why. I just was like, yes, that's cool. I want to do that. And it kind of morphed into theater and community theater and just making stuff with, I grew up with my nephews. We're all about the same age in the same house. And so we would make little like videos and music videos, but I don't even think I knew what a music video was. So little musicals or just anything. And then from there, when I was a teenager, so basically I fell in love with movies, and that kind of translated to acting. I just assumed that if I'm a girl, like, and I want to be in movies, I got to be an actor. You know, that's just, I never thought, oh, I could make something. I just never even thought that was a possibility. So that's kind of what I thought I would do. And then when I was a teenager, I got scouted and did modeling. And I did that overseas in Asia and Europe and stuff during summers in school. And I started to do our commercial work. So I was slowly exposed to being on the other side of the camera. I was slowly exposed to those worlds. And I remember, like, looking back, I remember the certain directors and photographers were so annoyed with me because I always thought it was a collaborative thing, you know, like in certain shoots or on a Target commercial or something, I would be like, yeah, that's cool. I'll say it like that. But what if I went down that aisle and I grabbed this and I did like this move and they were like, can you just do what we told you to do? Like, it was so funny. I just thought like, well, don't we all want to be a part of this thing? And no, that was not the case. Like, nobody wanted my input on anything. And I couldn't stop giving my input. And I just remember that was always like a point of contention, you know? And it wasn't until college, I was in college, I finally made a short film. And it was just because it was just totally by accident, honestly. I like had a DSLR and I was dating this guy that wanted to be a movie composer, and he played music, and he's like, you need to just write me something so I could score it. And I said, okay, sure. So I just wrote a script and figured out how to do this stuff, like how to edit, how to, you know, I cast our 85-year-old neighbor to be in it and made this short film. And it all kind of clicked in that moment, like, oh my God, this is awesome. I could do it. And around that time, I saw Another Earth and Tiny Furniture and like figured out like, oh, they just made these films by themselves. And so I was really late to the game figuring this out, that this could be an option for me. And that film went to festivals. And so then I made another one and, you know, slowly started to gain more experience, but I did not go to film school. I wish I went to film school. And then I met you, and then, and here we are.
Right.
One thing that I was thinking about recently is how I've done every job on set except for grip, which I would be terrible as a grip, because I know nothing about lighting. Don't hire me. But like, I've been a PA, I've been a producer, I've been everything, a DP, an AC, an art director, literally everything. So I think that's so important and just interesting and fun to learn how the different department heads work and to gain experience in that way. And so acting is no different. It's just another part, another role. And I think being on that other side has just given me like an insight to what it's like to be waiting around in the wings forever and then to be like, okay, now it's time, do your thing, and that's really hard for people. And also, I think that directors can sometimes not honor their craft like they should. Like actors, if they're good, or even if they're not, like they've done their work, they've read the script, they've done their work on this character. And so don't tell them how to feel, or, don't over direct them, like give them the space to do their thing.
Yeah.
And I think that I had that experience a few times where I just felt like, all right, if you know how this character feels and you're so specific on everything, why aren't you the one acting in this role? Because it sounds like you have some great insight. Like you should really just come on over and do it. And it just, like they're an artist too, and it's a collaboration, and they should feel like that, And so I think having that experience has let me do that for other people, I hope. And I know I haven't had a ton of work in the narrative world yet, but I think eventually I'll get to utilize that kind of.
Yeah. Is that like, do you think that's your kind of your goals from a professional standpoint is to move like further into the narrative space?
I would love to be in the narrative space. I love working. I love making things. So I am happy doing anything. I love music videos. I love commercials. I love being on set. I love working and creating. So, but yes, I would love to. I mean, movies are what inspire me, but I'm starting to get more and more inspired by commercials and advertising. And as well as, music videos can inspire me, but it started out with films being like my escape and what make, my heart sing, as cheesy as that is. But like, I would love to get a chance at it. I would love to get to explore, like, what is that like getting to tell a story in 2 hours, an hour and 30 minutes, please. That's enough, people. But like, just getting to work in that space.
Yeah.
Seems very exciting to me. I mean, I'm thinking about the Hooters thing we just did. And I mean, we just got to be really creative with shots, even though the spot is so short. I feel like that was super fun because I got to do crazy shots, like the chorus line beer dolly shot was awesome. And then the I love a pro blends, like getting to dive into the beer. And then also I've never really had tabletop. And so that was really cool to do, like the God's Eye view with stop motion with the food. I loved that. It was just a cool shoot. And then like all Andrew's stuff with the movable walls. Okay, welcome to the Hooters portal. Like that was so cool to go to film school and see how he does all this stuff practically. That was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it was, that one was fun too, because I think they kind of gave you the challenge of like, hey, how do we shoot a Hooters restaurant in a way that we haven't filmed the Hooters restaurant in the last like 30 years? And I think you did a pretty good job.
Thank you. I love that spot.
Okay, so we're doing a home team podcast here, right? So
home team.
At home team, we're all about local filmmakers, thinking global, film and local, right? So tell us, like, so you live in Texas now, like, what do you find special about like doing filmmaking in Texas? Like, what's different, you think, about it?
I love filming here. I mean, in Texas and Austin, anywhere in Texas, really, because I think people are really accommodating. Like you can get locations easily. You can get help in certain ways from the film commissions. People who live in the areas are just really enthusiastic about how you have a project here, you're wanting to film here. So people love it, and that's nice. But it's nice to be in a place where everyone isn't trying to do the same thing. Like, I like being a filmmaker in an area that's not New York or LA, because I think that informs what I'm making. And I think there should be storytellers who live everywhere, because I think, whatever you see day to day gets into your work. And I think New York's amazing. I love New York. I would live there. I think LA is amazing. I would live there, but I don't. I live here. And I think that because of that, I have something to say that's unique, I think maybe if I did live in those other places, I would be at a different place in my career, or like it might be easier to get my films made for sure. But I have kids and I live here. I love it. I think no matter what the budget is, I'm always going to kind of have that mentality of, let's just try to use a real place with as many real people, because I think you're already living within the world, Otherwise you have to, which is great. And people do it all the time where they build worlds, but like I haven't gotten there to that kind of budget or that kind of project, so I have no idea on what that would be like. So I think for me, it just makes sense to utilize what's already there.
Well, yeah, I feel like that's probably a decent enough segue to, I wanted to talk about your short film Passing Through, which I don't want to massacre it. So why don't you tell us what it's about?
So Passing Through is the short film I made 2 years ago. I can't really, time has lost on me since COVID, and I have 3 children, but I made it as a proof of concept for this feature I've written called Gene, and it's in development now. And it's a 20-minute dark comedy.
What's it about, just generally?
So it's the feature, and the short, which is a little piece from the feature, is about the last week my dad was alive. Stepdad. I know I said I didn't know my dad. It's confusing. A lot of dads, a lot of family.
Yeah.
But the last week he was alive, and it was just a crazy, crazy story. The real life is so much crazier than fiction. I couldn't even fit everything in the feature, but it's loosely based off that. And it's hilarious. It all takes place in hospice, which does not sound like a comedy in any way, but he just had all these women start showing up, and he was engaged to multiple women, and all of his ex-wives were there, and all of his kids and siblings who hated him, and everybody was there for a good old time. And he was a drug addict, so all the drugs that they were giving him, they weren't working, so he was lucid, which is a different kind of death story than I'm used to seeing. But yeah, I distilled it down into a feature, and I'm trying to make it now.
Well, that's great. And it's like, so it was on Short of the Week, and it got really great reviews. I think it did the festival circuit, and I think it won some awards as well, right?
It did. It won Best Narrative Short at Lone Star, and then I forget the name of the award, but another award at Rhode Island, and another somewhere. But yeah, it did well. It was awesome. It was great, getting to do the festival circuit and meet, filmmakers, moms on tour. It was really fun.
So what drives you to explore family in your work? Because there it is, not just Passing Through or Gene, in a lot of your work, there's a lot of family elements.
Yeah. I think I love watching those type of films. I love reading those type of novels. I think I find family dynamics and the inner workings of family interesting for some reason. I think I had a really strange upbringing, and I'm probably processing some of that through making stuff and watching it and consuming it. But I don't know. I think there's just so much. It's just odd, we are born and you just have to live your whole life surrounded by these people that you didn't choose, and you're, these are your family, and you go through life, and this, it's how I was raised, is families, so important and such a big deal. And a lot of, the feature that I wrote too, it was dealing with like how you can keep forgiving these people that are just so horrible to you, and just love and what that means, and different shades of it. And I think a family, whether that is like your chosen family or who you were born to, I just think it's fascinating. And especially now that I have my own family, and I've, made my own little unit, I have 3 children, and how each of them, you just come out who you are. Like, I see that with my kids. They really are born the people that they are, and just, they're so different, and what that means, and how that they contribute to the family dynamic,
No, it's great. And it's been like, we've worked on a bunch of projects together, and like on some of them, you've even brought out, some of your kids. I think about like the Benjamin Moore shoot that we did together, which was more of like, branded content, where you brought out Robert and Buddy, right? Was on that shoot.
Yeah.
And then I think Buddy was was also in the Haley Winters music video we did together, I believe.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And I was, and Buddy and Robert are in my short. I'm editing a short right now where all my kids are in it.
I have some experience with this as well, but like, how do you find working with family?
Oh yeah, you do. You definitely do. You tell me. I love it. I mean, I grew up watching Cassavetes movies. Like, he's a hero. I love Cassavetes, and I love how he always just casts his friends and his family and his wife. And I think there's something so special about that. And who knows? I mean, they may hate it later, but I mean, I'm just trying to find a way, like, I take photos, people take photos, they want to capture memories. I mean, I'm trying to do that, but in a different kind of way. I'm trying to slow time, everything's so sped up. So it's a way to just slow the moment, to capture the moment, and it be more 3-dimensional than just a photo. Like, this is just how California is for Robert and I's relationship. It kind of is. That's so cool that that's a moment in time. So whenever I can use my family, I want to, just because I can capture this little moment of them in this moment of their life. But Buddy is interesting. He's my oldest. He didn't really like being in stuff. And so then I want to push it or anything. Like, he didn't like being in the Benjamin Moore thing, but I told him, like, just think about all the Hot Wheels you could buy. Just think about it. Like, that's a lot of Hot Wheels, dude.
Yeah.
But now, I don't know, there's this shift in him, because I'm working on this short film that I had all of them in, and he was such a ham in it. You guys, I got to get this kid an agent. I'm not kidding. He sobs on command.
Wow.
Like, sobs, full streams of tears. And then it's a manipulation tactic. Like, he is not crying. Then he starts laughing. It's insane. I could never do that. I mean, he's like a little Macaulay Culkin, just like waiting to happen.
Yeah.
And he loves it. The middle one is not so into it. He's, so I'll capture his like moody behavior, and then I'll move on, I don't force him to do it, but it's fun.
One other thing I wanted to ask you about was just your experience working with kids. And I know we've talked about this a little bit, but like, you're great with working with kids on set. And like, what's your secret?
Thanks. I mean, I don't know. I've always been around kids. I grew up with a bunch of kids. I have a bunch of kids, and God, 3, too many. I feel like I'm just, you know me. I don't take life too seriously. I don't really take my work that seriously. I mean, I'm professional, everybody, but we're not curing cancer here. We're having a good time, or we're making an ad or a music video. Like, calm down. So I think that energy probably, they could feel it translates to what the set environment is like. Like, even if there are a lot of people around, I think me having this kind of, this is fun. This is an adventure. Let's listen to music. Let's eat snacks. Let's whatever, iPad time. Sure. I think it just helps them be comfortable. I love babies. Oh my God, I love babies. And, anything with a baby, I'm there. I have a baby. He's so cute. 7 months. Lagan, if you ever need a baby on anything, he is cute.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, you did. We did a branded piece for Mamaru, where you had to deal with like a ton of babies. How was that?
Loved it. Dream job. Just so many babies. And they were non-actors. Can you believe it?
And we're talking about like very little infant baby.
5 months and below.
Right. It was, 5 months and below. And they were doing their best acting, just cruising along in that Mamaru this chair.
Oh, and I love animals too. I just think, I think, there's something about kids and people who are great actors, or people who don't realize they're being filmed. Like, there's something about children that it's easier, in my experience, it's easier for them to tap into this kind of realness than an adult person. I think it takes an adult person longer to really get in that space of authenticity, just like being in their body and being in the moment. And it's easier for kids. They forget. Like, once they're unaware of the camera, or they just are more relaxed in their environment, you're just really able to get magic with them. And people too, adult people too, but it's different.
Yeah. Anyhow, all right, second and last question. So what is the one piece of advice you would give to your filmmaking self 10 years ago?
I would probably say, go make a movie. Just a long one, not a short. Just go make a movie. Just try it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think I would just tell myself then, like, just go do it, because I feel like at that point, when you're just starting and you don't know anything, you have this kind of like brazen, like, you don't know how anything works. So now I feel like I understand somewhat of the inner workings on what goes on and how much it takes to make something, so that if you just start with just making something, even if it's terrible, you learn so much,
Yep, that's good advice. All right. What about yourself 10 years from now? What type of films do you want to be making?
Ooh, anything. I just want to be making films. And making anything and everything. I would love to, I have this, I'm writing a comedy right now. I have so many ideas that are like half written. It would be really great to just put me in, coach. I just want to make anything.
Yeah. That's great. We should, I like the comedy idea.
Oh,
we should offline about that.
Yeah, no, it's so funny. We're like in the middle of I have this writing partner I'm working with. She lives in Mexico City, and it's so fun writing with someone. I've never done that, and I never want to write alone again. It is so much fun. And the movie, wait till you read it. It's so good. It is so good. Again, yeah, more family stuff.
Yeah, that's great. All right, now we're going to do the quick fire. And I think the general idea is just to try and not think too hard about it.
Okay.
But let's see. I don't even remember what I wrote. So this will be fun for me too. Okay, what is your favorite new film or TV show?
Well, Robert and I just finished the finale of Slow Horses last night, 2 nights ago. Gary Oldman, legend. It's so good. Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's awesome.
Ugh, it's so good. And I just got back from a couple of days ago. I was in Scotland, and I know that's British. I know that's in London, but I was in London for a hot second, and I just kept thinking like all the CCTVs, and I just felt like I was on the show. So that was really fun. And on the plane, though, I watched Zone of Interest. I hadn't seen it yet. Holy shit. Have you seen that yet?
No.
Oh my God. It is a masterpiece. And I couldn't believe it. I keep thinking about that movie, and he is a genius, and it is so good. And how he used 9 cameras the whole movie. There's 9. Can you imagine being the editor on 9 cameras? And it's just so human. Like, I can't get over that, you're following this Nazi commander and his family, and he humanizes him. Like the scene with him and his horse. It's just so good. It is an incredible movie. I'm such a big fan.
All right. We'll have to check that out. All right. Okay. If you could make a film with any other filmmaker, who would it be?
The Jim Jarmusch seems cool. Or Sean Baker. Seems like we're like twin souls. Or Andrea Arnold.
All right. Those are good ones. All right. We're going to move along in the spirit of quickfire. What is your favorite piece of film gear and why? I know you're not much of a gear head, but still.
A camera.
Okay. How about your 8mm that you always tag along?
I like that. Yeah. I mean, I feel like without a camera, you don't have much happening. So, but yeah, I mean, I love the 8mm camera. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. What would your favorite? What's your answer to that question?
I don't know. I just want to poll everybody else, and then I'll decide afterwards. Any favorite ways to wind down after a long day on set?
Taking a really hot shower and watching a show or reading.
Okay. What is something that Texas filmmakers do that other filmmakers don't?
I don't know. I have no idea, but
I actually know, but
you do?
Yeah. Well, breakfast tacos. I mean, it's like...
Oh, yeah. I didn't even think about that. That's such a part of my life. I wouldn't even think that it's not a thing anywhere else. Kolaches? Kolaches.
What's kolaches?
They're little, that's definitely a thing. They're little hot dogs wrapped in bread.
Bacon.
No, they're wrapped in, gross, hot dog wrapped in bacon.
Oh, that's an LA thing.
No, it's a hot dog wrapped in bread. That's
just a hot dog.
No, that does sound like a hot dog. You're right. It sounds exactly like a hot dog. It's a thing. Google it. It's a Czech thing. That it's all over Texas, kolaches.
All right. I will say that the thing I think of with Texas filmmaking is that every day in the morning you get breakfast tacos, which I do think should happen anywhere, but it only happens in Texas.
It does.
All right. Last question. What is your next big filmmaking adventure?
While I'm writing this movie, I'm in development on the other film, and I'm editing a short.
All right.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Erica Silverman, thank you so much for being our inaugural first guest on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me, Lagan.